Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to another edition of The Right Has Left. I'm your host, Roy Garton, on this podcast. And today, as always, we have a lot to talk about with the right, don't we? Trump just continues to make the headlines in the U.S. news, and we're going to take a brief look at all the wonderful stuff that happened just this past week. It's absolutely crazy. Just looking at some of the headlines, fast-moving Trump Doge policies and court challenges have left the Justice Department lawyers twisted in the wind. And we already know that by some lawsuits, which we're going to talk about here in this podcast just a little bit later, filed by quite a few Democratic blue states and a great federal judge that picked it up. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Also, the Trump administration cuts U.S. efforts to support democracy at home and abroad. We saw some great clips of Vice President J.D. Vance over at the NATO summit trying to talk about diversity and things like that going on in the United States. His speech was an absolute disaster. And we also saw our great newly elected State Department leader over there trying to also talk. And, Pete got caught on camera taking a sip out of something that was out of a whiskey glass. Now, for a disclaimer, we're not going to say that it was alcohol because we don't know. It could have been iced tea. But it just looked a little odd after he made his great speech to Congress that I will never touch another drop of alcohol as long as I'm in the office, and I'm a new born-again Christian guy that will never drink. But we don't know what was in that. But I did a little spiel on that in my TikTok. So if you want to take a look at that clip, jump on over to the TikTok and take a look at that. Let's continue with our news. White House forcing out top leadership at the National Archives in a major shake-up exclusive. Now, not only did that happen, as you probably heard, our great, wonderful president, Donald Trump, made himself chairman of the Kennedy Center. And there's even rumors that he may change the name from the Kennedy Center to the Trump Center. We don't know about that. But, and he fired all of the board of directors of the Kennedy Center. A few of them were appointees by our former president, Joe Biden, and he didn't like that. And of course, he fired the chairman, a lady who has been there for quite a while. So Trump makes himself the CEO and chairman of the Kennedy Center now. This stuff just keeps getting just weirder by the day. Then he went ahead and decided, that I'm going to fire all the FEMA people. And that, of course, is rolling out tensions and confusion within the Department of Homeland Security. In his massive firings, he just happened to fire some staffers that are in charge of our nuclear arsenal. Oh, my God. Yeah, he did that. That's absolutely true. And, of course, those folks got their jobs back yesterday after they found out that they, weren't supposed to be fired. We got to have some control of our nuclear arsenal and stockpile, don't we? Of course we do. This is just getting crazy. And then he directs agencies to carry out widespread layoffs, of course, in the Department of Education, Department of Treasury, the Internal Revenue Service. It just goes on and on. And, of course, then you heard about our wonderful Florida Pam Bondi trying to get people to dismiss the case against Eric Adams of New York, the mayor, because she just wants to do that because he's turned from a great, wonderful Democrat to kissing the hind end of Donald Trump. So Trump directed Pam Bondi to get the state of New York to get rid of those charges. But guess what? The seventh prosecutor in the Eric Adams case resigns and calls out Trump's former lawyer in a scathing letter. Yeah, instead of doing the bidding of Pam Bondi, they're just going to say, I resign. You figure it out, lady. Of course, and then lastly in our headline news, healthcare officials are warning that the Kennedy does not have the medical knowledge to run the Department of Health. Now, let's get back to the item that I was talking about the 14 states that have sued Elon Musk. Yeah, you got to see this. So there you have the new federal judge that's going to be handling the lawsuit against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And this lady is wonderful. She also handled the insurrection charges against Donald Trump, too. Her name is Tanya Chutkin. And this is just absolutely wonderful. Of all the federal judges that got this case, this lady doesn't mess around. In fact, she's giving till Saturday, and I'm taping this podcast on Saturday to 5 p.m. to get the final documents in so she can move ahead. Now, what this lady wants from the 14 states that sued Donald Trump is this. And what she wants is the final documents. And they're going to argue that the authority of the White House was granted to tech billionaire and his advisory department of the government efficiency, DOGE. And, of course, you got to remember Elon Musk also has these 20-somethings cronies working under him that are going through all of the security files, including the Central Intelligence Agency, and they already got a hold of classified documents. But anyway, what these 14 states want to do is claim then that all of these actions is unconstitutional. And I think most of us agree to the fact that it is. Elon Musk and Trump is violating the Constitution of the United States on a daily basis. And the states that are involved with this lawsuit, well, it's Arizona, Michigan, Rhode Island, among others. And, they just say that Elon Musk has just got way too much power and authority as a private citizen, even though Trump says, well, he's actually a government agency employee, which is bullcrap. I mean, 250 years after our nation overthrew a king, when we founded this beautiful place called the United States of America, many have fought and died for our freedoms, folks. And the Constitution is there for a reason. And how you put an unelected billionaire into a position like he has is just absolutely crazy. I mean, folks, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, we have got to do something about this. We as a nation have never ever in our current lifetime have seen a presidency that has acted in this norm. I mean, just recently you have seen Elon Musk, a private citizen, standing in the Oval Room of the White House with his bratty kid who was telling Donald Trump to get out of the chair, he's not president, and dropping an F-bomb. This spoiled rich child, little X, I guess is what Elon Musk calls him, running around in the Oval Office, and a kid hasn't been in there since the John F. Kennedy administration when his little child was in there, but he behaved. Little X did not. I mean, there was hot mics everywhere picking up this kid's mouth. And Donald Trump, of course, is just sitting there, okay, whatever you want to do, little child, it's okay. I mean, folks, it's just absolutely crazy what we have seen from Donald Trump's administration so far. I mean, it is absolutely crazy what this guy has done. And I don't know what else we can do to, fix this situation, ladies and gentlemen, unless starting with what the Democrats have done in these blue states. Now, I got to give kudos to the Democrats and the blue states that have started this lawsuit, because so many people who have voted for Donald Trump are now having voters' remorse that they did so. And also, the other fact is many people have been criticizing the Democrats that they're not doing one damn thing to correct and get this ship back on float that is called the presidency. And what are you going to do, though? The Democrats kind of got their hands tied as to what they can actually do. because they don't hold the majority of the House. Now, I did a previous podcast that there could be a correction to where Democrats could regain the House, even though it's a little hard to do because of, because this all happens right here in the state of Florida. And of course, Florida is very red right now. And but yes, it is possible with the special elections that is going to be occurring that the Democrats could regain the House, because the Republicans right now, as it stands, has a very slim majority. And you either get some Republicans to grow some gonads and defy Trump, like some of them are attempting to do because they've already seen enough, and the other choice, of course, is for the Democrats to get in control of the House again so they can stop some of these things. So I guess it's just basically a wait and see situation as to what can happen. But it is scary, isn't it? It is. It's absolutely scary what's going on. So anyway, that's the news for this week and for this podcast. I'll be back next week with some more wonderful tidbits. As I said, this podcast is called The Right Has Left because I myself was a Republican for 50 some odd years. And I've said before, I did vote for Donald Trump in his first go around. But after what I saw this guy was like in his first 6 months in office, I went, holy crap, who is this guy? And so the title of my podcast, The Right, the Republican Party as I once knew it, has left. It's now not the Republican Party, it's Trump's party. And he's out of control right now. So we'll have to see what happens. Thanks for joining me on this edition of The Right Has Left. I'm your host, Roy Garten. Until next time, try to have a great week. Take care.